If you're an NFL fan and you are not paying attention to what the Chicago Bears and Ryan Poles are doing, you need to be paying attention because Ryan Poles is having himself an offseason. After getting the #1 pick for a haul that included multiple draft picks and DJ Moore, he started off the agency by signing TJ Edwards to a 3-year, $19.5 million deal, a legitimate steal. Then he signed Nate Davis to a 3-year, $30 million deal, and then he made his most significant signing yet, signing Tremaine Edmunds to a 4-year, $72 million deal. Rumors sent shockwaves throughout the NFL by showing that Ryan Poles is ready to play and the Chicago Bears are going to be a team to watch. But who is Tremaine Edmunds and what can he provide to a team, and can he be that guy? Or was this an overpay by Ryan Poles? That is what we're going to discuss in today's video. But before we do that, make sure to go and subscribe and smash that like button to support my channel and help me grow. And with that all being said, let me hear the truth about the Tremaine Edmunds signing. Now, Tremaine Edmunds grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and growing up, he was surrounded by football and athletic talent. His dad, Burrow Edmunds, played in the NFL for 7 seasons and was an all-pro tight end. His mom ran track at Southern Illinois, and his parents instilled qualities in Tremaine and his older brothers Terrell and TJ Edmunds to make them successful not only in sports but also in life. And these were lessons that we all learned, like responsibility, discipline, respect, love, learning how to be grateful for the things that we have. But they did this in a very unique way, by fostering children and making them feel like they were a part of the family. And not only did Edmund brothers learn these qualities, but they would also be trained by their mother in track, would have them make sprints to improve their stride length and have them on a strict diet to become the best of the best. And that is exactly what Tremaine would become at Dan River High School in Virginia, where he played linebacker, DB, tight end, and special teams. And his most dominant season was his junior season, where he totaled 120 total tackles, 17 tackles about being for losses, 4 sacks, 2 picks, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 blocked kicks. And it should come at no shock that he was named Virginia's best defensive player that year, and it was thought that he was going to be even better in his senior year. But sadly, an injury derailed that, and many of us would quit. Many of us would think, oh my god, this is over. My football career is over. But not Tremaine. Tremaine wouldn't give up, and he managed to get named first team All-State for the Class 2A at the Virginia High School level, and was named a 2014 America Family All-USA Virginia football team selection. And when it came to recruitment, Tremaine was regarded as a 3-star recruit, was at a 236th overall player nationally, number 15th outside linebacker in the country, and the 12th best player in the state of Virginia. And when it came to deciding where to declare, Tremaine would have offers from Cincinnati, East Carolina, Kentucky, Maryland, North Carolina, USC, Virginia, and Virginia Tech, where his brothers had played. And many thought Tremaine would follow in his father's footsteps and commit to Maryland. But for Tremaine, the idea of playing with his brothers was way too intriguing to pass up, and he decided to commit to Virginia Tech. And his first year would go as many college athletes his first year. He would start a couple games and appear in most of them. And he would start in 2 games that season, debuting against Ohio State and starting against Georgia Tech. And that season, he would appear in all 13 games and would mostly be a special teams player, but he would also play a bit of linebacker. And as a freshman, he would start 11 tackles, 2.5 of them being for sack. And from there, Tremaine's career only picked up. He would start in all 14 games and would make a name for himself. In a remarkable game against Syracuse, he pulled off a staggering 16 solo tackles. And then against Georgia Tech, he would have an impressive 12 tackles. And against Clemson, he demonstrated his skills once again by having 8 tackles. But it was in the Bug Bowl where Tremaine Edmunds really proved his worth, as he would rack up 7 tackles and snag a pick against Arkansas. But that was just the beginning. His career was just getting started. In his junior season, he continued to make waves on the field, starting in all 13 games and leaving opponents shaking in their boots. Against the formidable Clemson, he recorded an impressive 9 tackles, and against Miami, he brought his A game, having 9 tackles and a sack. He didn't stop there though. Against their bitter rivals, Virginia, he would show up his strength by having 3 tackles and 2 sacks. And then against Oklahoma State in the Camping World game, he recorded 7 tackles. And after it all, he finished the season with an impressive 106 tackles, 18.5 of them being for losses, 4.5 sacks, as well as a fumble recovery and pick. And he was truly unstoppable. After Tremaine his junior season, he decided to commit to the NFL draft. And at the NFL Combine, he ran a 4.54 40-yard dash. And it was projected that Tremaine would be a first-round pick. Mo Kiper and Scout Select talked about how he was a freakish athlete, talking about his versatility, his long and lean form, his ability to be fluid, his speed, and his size, and the fact that he was only 19 at that drop. But there were some dropbacks, like the lack of production, his measurables. Being 6'5" at 253 is kind of a turnoff for most teams because that's not what a typical middle linebacker looks like, and that kind of made him fall off the board a little bit. And many scouts had Tremaine as their number 2 linebacker behind none other than Roquan Smith. And Mel Kiper projected Tremaine Edmunds to get drafted by Buffalo Bills, which is exactly what he would be drafted by when the Bills selected him with his 16th pick in the 2017 NFL draft. And what is really cool about the Edmunds brothers' stories is Terrell Edmunds, Tremaine's brother, was also drafted in that same NFL draft with the 26th pick by the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they would make history as the first brothers to be selected in the same draft and in the first round. In Tremaine's rookie year, he made his presence form. His 6'5" frame pressed almost every single Buffalo Bills player out there, but no one was more impressed than Lorenzo Alexander. Alexander talked about how smart and mature Tremaine was in team meetings and how he was far ahead of his peers. Having a dad that played in the NFL made Tremaine watch tape like how the pros do at an early age, and he became wise upon his years and knew the nuances of the game and impressed his coaches. Most importantly, Leslie Frazier had this to say about Tremaine. There's a challenge coming in as a rookie for sure, and then being a middle linebacker to lead, you're in a leadership role. You're calling defense, you're setting the front, you're doing a lot of things that are required to lead an entire route. That's asking a lot for a rookie, but at this point he's handled it extremely well. And Leslie Frazier compared Tremaine Edmunds' learning curve to that of Tre'Davious White, saying I don't see any indication that won't continue. He'll continue to impress as he goes along, and we'll just continue to put a little more on his plate as he goes. And even the players were high on him. Jerry Hughes had this to say: he takes command of the huddle, doesn't really have that deer in the headlights look when things are too much or overwhelming. You can kind of see him at ease there, kind of taking that leadership role in stride. For someone so young, I know he's 20 years old, but he doesn't really show his age. I catch him in the breakfast table, with his note cards, going over plays. He's a real, true pro. I love to see it in a young guy coming in. And it should be at no surprise that Tremaine would earn a starting spot after minicamp. John McDermott would name Tremaine Edmunds as a starter just before the season opener against the Baltimore Ravens. Tremaine would show out. Against the Ravens, he would have 7 combined tackles, 1 pass deflection, register his first sack, sacking Joe Flacco. Then in week 14 against the Jets, Tremaine made history as he became the youngest player to register an interception and then finished that season with 121 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 picks, and 2 forced fumbles. Entering his sophomore season in 2019, tremendous expectations as he would make the team captain that season, a huge accomplishment, and have his first sack against the Browns in week 10 after he sacked Baker Mayfield for a safety. Then in week 11 against the Miami Dolphins, Tremaine would have 12 tackles and a half sack against Ryan Fitzmagic. Against the Ravens, Tremaine would have 8 tackles and have his first pick of the season, picking off Lamar Jackson. In the Buffalo Bills' AFC wildcard game, Tremaine would do his part in helping the Bills contend as he would have 8 tackles, a sack, and a fumble recovery. And he would finish that season with 1 pick, 1.5 sacks, 115 tackles, and make the Pro Bowl as an alternative. In 2020, Tremaine Edmunds continued to become better and continued to become that MLB tackling machine. Even though he suffered a lingering shoulder injury in the week 1 against the Jets, he wouldn't let that stop him, and he would continue to get better and better. And his best game came against the Seattle Seahawks, where he had 11 solo tackles and 1 sack. In the Buffalo Bills' 2 playoff wins, he would have 9 tackles and broke up 3 passes. And then against the Chiefs in the AFC wildcard game, a game for the ages, he would have 7 tackles, and he finished that season with 108 tackles and 1 sack and earned himself a Pro Bowl spot. In 2021, Tremaine's 5th-year option would get picked up, and he had his best game against the Texans in week 4, where he would have 6 tackles and a sack, earning himself Defensive Player of the Week, and he finished that season with 102 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 pick. There is no doubt that Tremaine is special. His stats certainly show that, and that the contract he got from Ryan Poles show that. Comments that Poles has in him is going to show that, and he's going to have a huge impact on Chicago Bears and change the defense as we know it. Last year, as we all know, Chicago Bears ranked 3rd in missed tackles. And you know what Tremaine doesn't do? He doesn't miss tackles. And the Buffalo Bills is 76 missed tackles last year. Tremaine Edmunds accounted for just 1 of those missed tackles. And what makes his signing even more impressive is Tremaine is a long arm length. The fact that he's able to wrap up players and slow them down is going to make him such a valuable asset to this team. The fact that he's a tackling machine is going to help the Chicago Bears go from one of the worst teams defensively to probably one of the best. And while it will always be comparisons to Roquan, let's admit it, Tremaine is a better fit with this defense. Jory, his relentless arrogance and his ability to become a tackling machine is going to make this signing one of Ryan Poles' best signing. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this move? Let me know that in the comment section below, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more videos like this. And with it all being said, bear down.